Hello, hello. Just doing a quick mic check before I turn the cameras on and everything. Sounds good to me. Oh, sorry about that. That was my phone, not your notifications. I forgot to mute my phone. All right. How's everyone doing today? Everyone's having a good day today? As you all can see, not much is going on over here right now, but that's because I'm about to start a new painting. But before I start, I realize I need to grab my, what's it called? My palette, because it's going to be real hard to paint without that. So yeah. So today I'm going to be painting one of my cats. I said I was going to do it. Thought today'd be a great day to start a new painting since I'm finished with the last painting I did. Oh, before, I guess I should show the last painting I did for all the people who were here while I was painting it. Might want to see the finish before I post on social media. But yeah, there it is. Most of it. Very, very bottom's getting cut off. But yeah, so this one is pretty much done. Let's see. I can zoom in artificially. Can I? Nope, that's not it. Um, it's digital zoom, so not that great, and also a bit overexposed. Let's see. Um, that's too much. That's a bit more accurate. It'd be nice if I could do like subtle changes instead of like just very drastic changes. I think that's pretty good. I think that looks pretty accurate. Of course, everyone's screen is going to be different. But yeah. All right, now can I fit it to the screen now? Let's see. Yeah, rotate. That's why you don't do this stuff live. Anyways, there we go. I keep my palette in one of these with the airtight lid. It keeps a lot of the paint fresh for a long time. Hey, Des. Is it Dresden? Yes, it is Dresden. Dresden is, for those who don't know, Dresden is my cat. He is named after Harry Dresden the Wizard from the book series. And he is an orange cat. And he is who I am painting today. How you doing, Des? Good to see you. It looks like I may have damaged one of my brushes a little bit. It's already a damaged brush, so it's not the biggest deal in the world, but yeah. I don't know how that happened. I mean, I know how that happened. I don't, like, I understand how it got damaged. I don't understand how it happened when I put it in. I'll show you all in a second. I'm just cleaning it off because I'm gonna have to cut the bristle out. I guess I put it to soak and it bent one of the bristles. Where is it? Did it fix itself? One of the bristles was bent way out of place. I mean, this brush is fraying quite a bit. There we go. I mean, this brush is fraying a lot as is, but one of the bristles was like 90 degree. Ah, here we are. Don't know how this random bristle got bent out of shape like that. Like I don't know what happened there. Oh well. Hey, Cassandra. Cassandra got auto modded. For some reason, You a Liar was auto modded. Uh, so to fix this, I'm just gonna take these little scissors that I bought specifically for this, and that's it. The carnage. Yeah. Well, this, like I said, this brush is already kind of having some issues, but I bought these scissors specifically for like trimming brushes and fixing them when needed. You love those kind of scissors? Yeah, I didn't know that those existed. They're like, what is it, thread scissors or something like that? Yeah. I need to loosen up the restrictions. Yeah, I probably do, but that would require me to do it, and doing something regarding like chat and permissions and all that is low on my priority list at the moment, if I'm being honest. So, yeah. Oh no, my camera seems to have scooted. What happened? Mod my lady and she can do it? She doesn't really deal with stuff like that a lot. Okay, it's the shadow. That's what's happening. I thought the camera um, drifted up or something, but no. My mom's old fabric store job had a wall of these very fancy scissors. They were all locked away, but I enjoyed looking at the different kinds. That's interesting. Yeah, what's it called? I thought it was really interesting. I've seen some videos on how brushes are made. And if you watch how like some of the more modern brushes are made, uh, versus some of the more like we'll say you know, like the old uh you know, the old school brushes were made by hand. It's such a different technique. It's really interesting. You can see how much craft really goes into some of these things. And I'm not saying that the automation is bad necessarily, but like I'm sure that quality wise there's a bit of a, you know, a bit of a difference between the two. And I'm just going to clean up my palette real quick. Just taking all the fresh paint, putting it into a pile together, and the rest of the paint I'm just going to scrape off. Hey Jared, welcome. New piece? Yes, new piece. I'm going to be painting one of my cats today. I don't usually paint cats. This will be my second cat painting and my third animal painting ever. So not exactly my go-to subject matter. So, but I'm trying to, you know, get a better handle on it. It's more an issue of like speed and shortcuts, like not knowing all the like, you know, shorthands that I've developed for people. I don't have for animals. How are you doing today, Jared? I looked through your Instagram, by the way. Really lovely stuff. Really enjoyed going through some of that. All right. Yeah, I remember seeing a documentary about what was it? It was Winsor Newton's number seven brushes, I think it is, how they make it. There's like a certain they have I forget how many employees, but they're like that's all they do, and they have to what was it? They basically have to like train for some a certain number of years before they can even make brushes. It's crazy. At least that's how they used to make them. Nowadays, who knows? Alrighty. Well, today I can actually start off with a bit of well, I can't because my paint's dry, but if the paint wasn't dry, I could immediately start off with a bit of a shadow shape because unlike a lot of what I do, this one kind of has grouped up shadows. Jared says I've painted one cat. It was Creepy Cat, I think, is in New Orleans. Pretty sure it was possessed. uh, Des says, "Oh no, if Dresden comes in and sees his portrait, is he going to freak out?" No, I don't think he's smart enough for that. If it's not moving, he won't freak out. If it, you know, the on the monitor when he sees himself, I think it's because it moves and he can kind of like track it. I don't think photos he'll care. I'm doing well, and thank you about IJ. Oh yeah, absolutely. Oh, there's the looking for the bristles. They landed in my blue. Jared says, I love the Series 7 brushes. I'm holding one now. Nice. Yeah, I have one, but I when I bought it, it was to ink comic books, and I think I got one that was too large for my personal needs. So it ended up not being all that useful for me. And if I'm not mistaken, it's I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's not a synthetic brush, if I remember correctly, which means I would not ever buy one again since uh, my views on that have changed over the years. But yeah, they are great brushes. Although I've heard from many people that the quality has gone down over the years, which I don't know if that's true, of course, because I only bought the one, so I don't know. It is Sable. Yeah, yeah. I figured it was. I figured. I really do believe that, like, originally synthetic brushes really weren't very good, but I do feel like nowadays synthetic brushes have gotten so good that even if their natural hair brushes are slightly better, the difference isn't worth it at this point. But that's my personal opinion. Obviously, not everyone agrees with me, so that is what it is, you know. But yeah, I wish I could paint exclusively with with thing with things like this, like these little rubber pusher thingies. I wish I could paint just with those, but what's it called? I just don't have the control that I want with the, with it. But yeah, I wish I could just paint with those. They're so much easier to clean. It, you know, yeah, it kills me the like brush cleanup. I just wish was so much easier, and those things are so easy to clean. Jared says, I love them. It keeps the edge better than any brush I can find so far. Then Windsor 7. Yeah, I'm sure it does. Although, like I said, I don't know if the one you bought is, um, I don't know how long you've had it for. I know some people keep those brushes, for years, especially because a lot of people do watercolor with it. And so it's not as damaging to the brush. But the more recent ones, I've heard some negative things. Not negative things like they suck, but just like they're just not as good as they used to be. I don't know how, like I said, I don't know how true that is, but yeah. One of the people I heard that from was an inker, but I'm for the life of me cannot remember his name at the moment. Yeah, he swears that they just went down in quality drastically over the years. Jared says they are expensive. Wish I could find a cheaper alternative. Yeah, yeah. My issue with brushes is that I don't know. I seem to damage them and go through them. I don't want to say fast, but like I talked to someone at Portrait Society and they're like, "Oh my God, I still have my the same brushes from when I was in art school 20 years ago." And I'm like, "In what world? How is that even possible?" Um, so I do I do wish that they Jared says I wish. Yeah, same here. I don't know how. Like I don't understand. I mean, I'm not saying that I go through I don't go through brushes like every, every month or something like that, but you know, I don't know, I get through them. I'm trying to think like how often I have to grab new brushes, but it's trying to think. Um, I don't know. I kind of put it off. Like I probably wouldn't be using this brush if I was trying to, like if I didn't care about trying to make it last longer, but oh well. Okay, I know you all don't really see the cat right now, but the cat's like right here. He's sitting here, and then his tail is here. So that's the pose. I know it's hard to see right now. I'll get to it. Cassandra says, I'm still trying to figure out what I even like, so cheap brushes for me. Yeah, I went through that period for quite a while as well. Um, Definitely took my time trying to figure out like what type of brushes I like and so on. Absolutely. And I did the same thing. I bought a bunch of cheap brushes. I do wish I'd had a better, like, I don't know, someone to direct me on that in the beginning, because I bought a bunch of brushes that, weren't very useful at all. The thing with oils is you need, for at least part of it, a bit of a stiffer brush. And I was using like watercolor brushes, and I would have to thin my paint down so much that it would like disappear. It would, like, I'd put paint down and it would just kind of melt into like the paint that was already there. And then it was just super frustrating. Like I was really struggling to get paint down on the canvas. Like it was so hard for me to get paint down. And the reason was I was just using the wrong brushes, and I didn't know at the time. So one of the reasons I realized that I do a lot of the background first when I start a painting is, well, I'm talking about a painting with a single figure. It's a way for me to fill in the canvas while also essentially drawing the outline of the figure or the subject matter, whatever it might be. Um, so, and I don't need to be as exact with my values, because I know I'm going to go in and mess it up and, go back and forth. So it's a way of kind of, instead of sketching out like the character and then, or the figure or whatever, subject, and then painting the figure and then the background. This way I'm not doing the sketch, I'm just filling in the background, which gives me the envelope of the character or the figure or subject. And then from there, I can go in and fill in the figure. And like I said, I know I'm going to mess everything up anyways and repaint it all. So I don't need to be super exact with everything. I just need to get like the gist of it to begin with. But yeah, that was something I realized recently. Like why is it I do this every time now? I do have a favorite paint. Um, Jared asks, I do. Wait, are you asking if I have a favorite paint brand? I assume you're asking, Jared. I assume you're asking if I have a favorite paint brand. Um, Sort of. I know, not the most committed answer right there. The reason I say sort of is because I I like mgram a lot, but mgram's titanium white has zinc in it, which my understanding is not good to have in your paint. So for the white, I go with different brands. But other than the white, yeah, I think mgram's probably my favorite at the moment. It's mostly a consistency thing, right? Mgram's paint is a lot softer. Um, I really I like that. Yeah, it works with, like, I don't know. It's easier to work with, in my opinion. So yeah. Um, Other than mgram, I've mostly used Gamblin and Gamblin and Winsor Newton, and I also have some Williamsburg, but I'm a little on the fence on Williamsburg at the moment. I like the company. I like Golden. I like how they like research and report things, and there's a lot of stuff I like about the company, but their paint is not the most consistent, I think, is the issue. I have to clean this out. I didn't realize I was going to have to clean this out. But I need some oil, and this is full of dried oil. I do really want to try, there's a few other brands I really want to try, but you know, price is a consideration, and even mgram's more expensive than like Gambling or Winsor Newton. And then, you step up to like Williamsburg or Michael Harding. I've heard such good things about Michael Harding. Everyone raves about them. But yeah, they're kind of pricey. And then, of course, there's brands like, what is it? The I can't remember the name of it. It's like from Holland, I think. I'm trying to remember the brand. You probably know it, but someone told me their paint is super stiff. So I was like, oh, well, I'm glad I never bought any of their paint because I don't like stiff paint. So not a problem. Uh, Jared says I started off using Winsor Newton, and I just started experimenting a few years ago with Old Holland and Gamblin. Old Holland, that's the brand. Old Holland looks, just I've heard that it's very stiff. I don't like stiff paint, so I'm just like, no, thank you. I'm sure it's great. They have a reputation of being amazing. I don't know what I'd do with it. Okay, there we go. I just needed a little bit of oil here to help things move. So yeah, I mean, I would say, to anybody who is looking to get into painting, really Gamblin and Winsor Newton is definitely good enough. Like, don't think that you need anything more than either of those because you really don't. That I know so many professional artists who that's all they use. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying they're the absolute best and there's nothing better, but I am saying like for anyone who's looking to get into painting, don't feel discouraged if that's what you're buying. Jared, what's your opinion on Old Holland? I'm curious. And is it very stiff paint? Because like I said, that's what I'd heard. And yeah, Michael Harding's probably the brand I want to try the most at the moment. But they're just, like I said, price-wise, they're just doesn't make sense for me most of the time. But yeah, I knew I needed yellow, but I forgot what I was painting for a second. I do wish I could find a good what's it called? Like someone I really trusted who could like research this and really tell me which brands like which brands have good paint like even in their student line um for because I know some people will buy, you know, artist color, artist grade paint for, you know, most of their paints, but then specific paints they'll just buy like Winton or whatever because they're like it's the same thing. I never trust that it is actually the same thing, but I do wish there was better like, you know, information on that because I'm always about saving a few extra dollars. Yeah, when I won the Jerry's Artorama self-portrait competition like 4 years ago or 3 years ago, something like that, which was really cool. Um, and you know they get the prize for that as a gift card to Jerry's Artorama, and I was like, okay, I just won this. I am going to, you know, I'm gonna spoil myself a little, right? I'm gonna buy some premium paint, not good paint, premium paint. I'm going to buy some of the, you know, I'm going to get some Michael Harding or I'm going to get, you know, Old Holland. I think I was looking at Old Holland specifically at the time. Like, I'm going to treat myself. So I go to Old Holland on Jerry's and I look up like a large tube of, I think at the time I was looking at Cad Yellow or Cad Lemon maybe. So I look up a tube of Cad Lemon and I'm like, Oh my God, that's over $200 for a tube of paint. And then I go and I look at Winsor Newton or something, and it was like I think it was like $50 or something like that. And I was just like, uh, maybe I'll just treat myself with some M-gram paint. They're a little more expensive, right? Like I'm still treating myself. I mean, they're still more expensive than the Winsor Newton, right? Like, yeah. So I never ended up buying those. It was too expensive. I couldn't bring myself to do it. There was another brand I was looking at that I ended up being happy I didn't buy them because I'd heard that there's some inconsistency uh, in their paint quality and ingredients or something like that. But I'm trying to remember if it was what brand it was, and I don't want to say something that isn't true and mention a brand, but it was another one of the more like high-end, supposedly brands. You know, when I paint people, I'm so used to painting people that I think I can eyeball my measurements so much easier than when I paint cats. I'm just not as familiar, and I definitely can feel that my general like eyeballing it kind of thing just isn't as accurate. At least that's what it feels like. It's definitely too light, but you know, whatever. Like, I guess I can darken it now. Sandra says, did a bunch of pencil studies of cat skulls, and it was helpful just to see where there are overlaps with the human skull, etc. Yeah, that's always helpful. I've done that in the past, but it's been a while. I also did the same thing with their their arms, their skeletal structure in general. Like them and horses, I did both cats, dogs, and horses, and they're all like it's a ton of overlap. It's just like this is the human you know skeleton if it was distorted this way or that way. It's just like, okay, that's creepy, but cool, I guess. Yeah. If you're sensitive to this stuff, go watch horses. Go watch something about horses when they're born and what their hoofs or hooves or whatever, are like. Weird. So creepy looking. All right, let's smush paint around for a bit. Oh wait, I need paper towel. Alrighty. So for anyone who's interested in is one of the uses, and it also fills in all the gaps by smushing the paint around, which I like. Also, it brings in a lot of randomness, which I also appreciate. Um, and it helps me get moody paintings a bit because that like everything's all smushed around, so it looks all hazy. Um, yeah, those are some of the main reasons I use the brayer. Also, it takes the pressure off when you know you're gonna ruin your painting by smushing everything around. You're really not too worried about getting everything right the first time around because like it don't really matter, does it? So those are some of the reasons I normally at this stage I'd take a photo of this and I'd overlay my reference uh, on top of this or whatever. I'd overlay them on top of each other in Photoshop, and I could use this as kind of a map or grid system kind of thing to know where to put everything. I try to limit how much I do that in general because I do want to improve without doing that all the time. It's kind of tedious. Also, when I stream, it's not the best. What's it called? It's not the best because I have to step off camera and go do it on the side. But so I'll probably sketch in or draw or paint in some more and then do that later. Alrighty. Oh yeah, I need to put out some more of my quinacridone rose. The other thing I find frustrating about different paint brands is not every paint. Sandra says, I looked for some rose when I was at Jerry's this weekend. Alas, they didn't have it in my paint. They don't have, huh. Have you looked online at the manufacturer? Golden Open paints, and because they're such a unique brand, they don't make everything, you know, in that line of paints. They make red and magenta and crimson. Okay, yeah, so they don't make. So I don't think it's the most the most popular uh, pigment or you know, or color. Honestly, like I know a lot of people use it, but yeah. Cassandra says, I'm waiting for you to have the pigment memorized. I do. It's PV19. Quinacridone rose is PV19, which stands for pigment, you know, P, and the V is violet. So technically it's a violet, whatever, you know, that's only technically. Some companies make quinacridone red with it, so it can go all the way into the like really red. And then the same brands will also make quinacridone rose and then quinacridone violet with it too. So you can, you know, different companies will use the same pigment to do different things. Yeah, no, I remember that one. I'm trying to think if I remember all the pigment codes that I use. So PV19 for that. For yellow, bismuth yellow. I don't remember. I don't remember cad lemon. Hold on. Cad lemon is PY. Is it? Um, so it's not exactly rose because when they make it into a red, it's not quite rose. All right. This is my bismuth yellow, and the pigment code on it is depending on the particular PK11. Yeah, I was wrong about that. And then phthalo blue is PB15, and then depending on the version you get, it's like PB15 and then 2.5, or 3, depending. 2.2 for this one. Yeah. Let's see. Cassandra says, "What's Van Dyke? Their Biz Yellow is Van Dyke Yellow. Is a Van? I have no idea. I've never heard of that one. Sorry, and I'm not familiar with that one. And I can't believe this, but I'm blanking on titanium white. Is titanium white 4 or 6? Titanium white is either uh, PW4 or 6. Cassandra says 6. I believe her. PY4 then is the list here says 6, then PY4 must be zinc, right? I think if I'm the reason I get those two confused is because you so often you see them together. Yeah. So PY6 is titanium, PY4 zinc. And yeah, and if you're painting in oils, avoid zinc. Hey Lost Pixel, good to see you. How you doing? I didn't have all my pigment codes memorized 100%. But I think I'm close at least. I remember the red ones more because I dealt with that too. Like I know that magenta is PR 122. No, wait, 112. Sorry. It's one of those. I might got them confused, but it's 122 or 112, I can't remember. So, not perfect. How goes it? It's going well. Just working on a new painting here, doing a painting of the little Dresden boy. Just started it. So, very, very early stages. I found out some interesting things about the video editing stuff that we had dealt with, by the way. I found out all kinds of little like pitfalls and little things to be aware of when I'm working on it. So it's good to know those things. But as you can imagine, the discovery process of it is not, not the best, but oh well. Yeah, you'll learn. So, but for instance, I found out that what's it called? EDL files have a limit of 999. Anything over that, it doesn't know how to read. And I also found out that because DaVinci Resolve automatically starts their time codes with a 1 hour mark for some reason. I don't know why. It messes everything up. Yeah, so I'm finding ways around all of these things, which is great, but it would be nice. It's like roundabout way of figuring all this out. Yeah. Hey, Don Lee. Lost Pixel says that's why I had to add that. Add what? Uh, um, did you add it originally? Because it doesn't seem to have worked. So I had to take it off in DaVinci Resolve in order to get things to automatically sync up. Huh. I don't know. I can send you a screen grab, a screenshot of what I'm talking about. I know you understand what I'm talking about, but I mean, as far as like where I ran into this, and so on. Please do. Yeah, absolutely. Um, but yeah, I found out. Yeah, I found out a lot of tricks around some of the stuff. The one big trick would be, it would be we can talk about it, but it'd be great if there was a way to get past the 1000 limitations, because right now the way I do that is by splitting it up into multiple clips, which is kind of a pain, but it's not the worst thing in the world. So if, it's also not that big of a deal. So yeah. And you could even argue there's some benefits to splitting it up into multiple clips as far as like outputting, rendering. You don't have to render like a huge clip. You can render multiple little clips, which can be a little easier and so on, But yeah. Man, my allergies are starting to act up at the moment. But yeah, I'll send you some screenshots of what I'm talking about and so on. But I was able to use it, and I actually made a video, um, which I haven't published yet because I'm going to make, my goal is to get a backlog before I start releasing videos. But yeah, I have a video already, and I used your stuff to make it, to help me with the time lapse. I still have to speed the time lapse up like crazy. But it's better though. It still cuts out a lot. File that it made so I can look it over. Yeah, I can do that. I also I realized, this is kind of getting into the weeds of this, but I realized that I can edit the EDL file in the text editor, and I can replace the name to a timeline in DaVinci Resolve. So I can make it so that it timeline or something. It would make things easier. But it's not the biggest deal in the world. But yeah. Donley said, "Hey Donley, I'm sorry if I didn't say hi, by the way. I apologize if I got distracted. Hi Donley, welcome. Donley, by the way, is a streamer friend. So is Lost Pixel. Lost Pixel also streams. But Donley does digital artwork, and Lost Pixel does 3D artwork, both on Twitch. So check them out. How you doing, Donley? You were looking into downloading DaVinci Resolve. It's really good. The learning curve is not the most pleasant in the world, especially for someone like me who is very new to video editing in general. So definitely can be a bit steep, but seems like a very capable program. And if you need any help with anything in particular, you're welcome to message me, because sometimes the online, sometimes the online forums, I don't know, I think maybe it's because it's like a very, what's it called? Professional program. I think sometimes the assumption is that you're a professional video editor, and it's like, yeah, I'm not. So sometimes it can be a little frustrating. At least that's been my experience. Of course, if you have more video editing experience than me, you might find it a lot easier, you know. I'm definitely not an expert at that. Dunley says, I see that does sound frustrating. I mean, I'm assuming it'd be frustrating with any program for video editing, you know, but except for ones that absolutely weren't made for professionals. That might make it a little easier, I suppose. There are a lot of great videos on YouTube about it. That is nice. But like I said, I've run into a bunch of like little things that are just so unbelievably frustrating. And you're just like, why won't this do this very simple thing that it should do? I have to spend hours looking it up online. Which, like I said, I'm sure if I was doing Premiere Pro, it would be the same thing. So yeah. Donnelly says my editing experience has been with iMovie, which is very user friendly, and I've been able to get good results with it, at least for my needs so far. Yeah, I think a lot of people. Wait, is it iMovie or is there a more professional version of the um than iMovie? Anyways, I think a lot of people do stuff like that. Yeah. Lost Pixel says, could you also, after updating the times in DaVinci, export the modified EDL once you have corrected stuff? Um, Not sure what you know if you want. It's just a setting. If that's what you mean, that's an easy thing. And yeah. Do you mean once I like referred to the file, if I could export that as an EDL to compare the two? Is that what you're talking about? No, so I didn't export. I imported the EDL. Um, and I changed the time code to 0, and then I imported the EDL. And in the EDL, in the text file, I changed the name of the file it was referring to a to a timeline, and that brought it in with all the cuts and all the footage. That's what happened. Sorry if I wasn't clear about that. Donnelly says, I think you're right. Apple does have a more professional version. Not sure the name of it. I've been really impressed how quick my movies render in iMovie. Yeah. Right, Lost Pixel. You can export an EDL from your timeline setup in DaVinci. Yes, I can. I can do that for you. I don't mind. If that's what you mean, yeah. To compare or something, sure. Absolutely. You're like the original EDL plus, okay. Sure. Yeah, that way you can see the difference between them. Sure. I don't mind. Uh, all right. It would be a lot easier to test this if I used DVR scan. That way I could do the whole process. Yeah, although I think I've gotten a pretty good, I think I've gotten a much better understanding of it all. Lost Pixel, so that you could understand, the, yeah, I'm still not like an expert or entirely understand what I'm doing about with all this stuff, but I think I have a much better grasp of it. Um, if you wanted to. Yeah, absolutely. We could do that sometime. So this is the promo to your new merch, right? Yes, my new Swamp Thing print. Cool. You know what it is? I'm pretty sure that the ears are significantly off on their proportions. And I think that's really messing up my perspective on everything. So we're going to get rid of the ears temporarily because I think I put them in too early and it was messing up all my proportions. And it's just quick, let's all talk about Justin while he can't hear us. Yes. Okay, that's a good marker. There, let's see. Probably a little off, but hopefully that's not completely off. After doing this, I will take a photo, put it into Photoshop and double check everything. Yeah, this is looking better. Only says I have 3 different times, each using a different song, trying to give the vid the right feel. I was too impatient, I guess, lol. You uploaded the video 3 times to YouTube. That's funny. I the recent video I did, I uploaded to YouTube, but it's unlisted so that I could share it with some people, get some feedback and so on, but not post it yet because like I said, my goal is to get a backlog first and then start releasing videos. My goal is to actually get to the point where I can streamline the thing so much that I can, like do some quick paintings and release, videos. Like ideally, like I do a couple paintings in the week and then I release videos the next week, edit them over the weekend and then release them. If not quicker, but we'll see. I can there's a lot of streamlining that needs to happen to get to there. All right, Cassandra, have a good night. If I don't see you, thanks for hanging out. Appreciate you being here. Hmm. Okay, he is looking even chunkier than he does in the photo. Just saying, I need to fix it. I think I know what the problem is. Like he's a very floofy cat. He is not a chunky cat. He is floofy, and that does make him look chunkier than he is. But I'm pretty sure this is needs to be like over here. He's actually, he is the largest and thinnest of all our cats. Yeah, he's so long he can reach the when he stretches on his hind legs, he can reach the door handles in our house. Luckily, he cannot turn the door handles in our house because that would be a big problem. Luckily, he can't pull that maneuver off yet. Bart's on YouTube. I am not. Not by those. No, I'm not. Quote is from. He did the meme for the cat likes it for some reason, so that's how he holds them. Some of it, not. Lost Pixels says, well, Sparta was an orange cat. Yeah. Also, you misremembered Sparta was not orange. Okay. Thank all your performance. Chasing. Very funny. I think it's YouTube anyways. Lost Pixels says I haven't noticed really any here. Yeah, I think it's on YouTube specifically that it's having some issues. I don't know why. I think I'm going to have to get into the habit of resetting my I especially and my connection is seeming to have a ton of problems right now. I might cut it down from 4K to 2K or something. In a while, 2 weeks.